I'll have more to say about my plans in the coming days, but until then, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. It has been an honor to be welcomed into your home for all these years. That's the news. Reporting from Washington, I'm Jim Acosta.
I mean, what can we say about Jim Acosta? My heart breaks a little bit for Jim Acosta of CNN as he bid a fond farewell to his viewers, whatever's left of them. He is out at CNN. Now, let me explain the chain of events that brought this on. Last week, CNN had to issue 200 pink slips to employees. I don't relish anybody losing their job, except Jim Acosta and whoever's at CNN who hates my guts because I don't vote the way they think I should vote. In fact, I do kind of relish these layoffs. They're all gone right now because CNN is a sinking ship. And then, as is often the case on a sinking ship, the management, the owner of the ship, the captain driving the ship square into that iceberg, after issuing the 200 layoffs, they decided to rearrange the deck chairs. They didn't fire on-air hosts. They didn't get rid of Anderson Cooper and his big salary. They didn't can Caitlin Collins as a failed experiment. They didn't rein Jake Tapper in and say, dude, tone it down. Why don't you just actually report the news instead of lecturing all of us about how great you are? Now, they didn't do any of that. They didn't retool the morning show and actually make it fun and entertaining and informative with someone that's appealing that you would want to watch. No, they didn't do any of that. They just moved everyone around. Wolf Blitzer to 10 a.m. because who doesn't want Wolf Blitzer after your third cup of coffee? And then they had to move the person who was in the 10 a.m. slot, this guy, and they're like, Jim Acosta, where can we best utilize Jim Acosta? I know, midnight. They moved him from 10 in the morning to midnight. And Jim Acosta's reaction was, don't you know who I am? I'm Jim Acosta. You can't put me on at midnight. And I think about it. Greg Gutfeld, who now has basically created his own personal media empire at Fox News, where he hosts 2 primetime 1-hour shows that are in the top 10 in ratings on cable news across the board. In fact, one of them is number 1 in ratings on a consistent basis. That would be The 5. And he's the number 1 rated late night comedy show now. Greg Gutfeld, his first job at Fox News was at 2 a.m. At 2 a.m. with Red Eye. And he turned that into something. Maybe Jim Acosta should have taken a lesson there. And instead of walking, he should have embraced the midnight show and done a hilarious comedy show with that midnight slot. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think he should have changed anything that he does in his delivery or his topic selection. Jim Acosta can just do everything Jim Acosta does, and we would continue to laugh at him. Just bring in a live audience or something, and he'd kill. It'd be hilarious. I mean, he wouldn't recognize the humor in it, but that doesn't matter. He'd probably get some ratings. But no, his reaction was, I'm Jim Acosta, damn it. I'm too important for midnight. So he decided to walk. And by the way, the CNN executive's reaction was, yes, the plan worked perfectly. Jim Acosta quits. We didn't have to fire him. Beautiful. So Jim Acosta is now on his own. And to send him off, Donald J. Trump, he'd be the 47th president of the United States, he sent out this message. Wow, really good news. Jim Acosta, one of the worst and most dishonest reporters in journalistic history, a major sleazebag, has been relegated by CNN fake news to the midnight hour, Death Valley, because of extraordinarily bad ratings and no talent. Word is that he wants to quit, and that would be even better. Jim is a major loser who will fail no matter where he ends up. Good luck, Jim. That's my favorite part, of course, is the good luck, Jim. And, well, the news is that he did, in fact, quit. So if you tuned into his final broadcast, and I know you did, here's what you saw from Jim Acosta one last time.
And I just wanted to end today's show by thanking all of the wonderful people who work behind the scenes at this network. You may have seen some reports about me and this show. And after giving all of this some careful consideration and weighing an alternative time slot CNN offered me, I've decided to move on. I am grateful to CNN for the nearly 18 years I've spent here doing the news. people often ask me if the highlight of my career at CNN was at the White House covering Donald Trump. Actually, no. That moment came here when I covered former President Barack Obama's trip to Cuba in 2016 and had the chance to question the dictator there, Raul Castro, about the island's political prisoners. As the son of a Cuban refugee, I took home this lesson. It is never a good time to bow down to a tyrant. I've always believed it's the job of the press to hold power to account. I've always tried to do that here at CNN, and I plan on doing all of that in the future. One final message. Don't give in to the lies. Don't give in to the fear. Hold on to the truth and to hope. Even if you have to get out your phone, record that message. I will not give in to the lies. I will not give in to the fear. Post it on your social media so people can hear from you too. I'll have more to say about my plans in the coming days, but until then, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. It has been an honor to be welcomed into your home for all these years. That's the news. Reporting from Washington, I'm Jim Acosta.
Wow. Sanctimonious and deceitful right up until the end, and hypocritical. I wonder if he's sitting there talking about the dictator of Cuba as the highlight. And by the way, I love it. I just happen to have a photograph of the highlight of my career. Here, let me show it to you. Always hold tyrants accountable. Always speak truth to power. Can you show us the moment where you spoke truth to power to Barack Obama, Jim? Could you? Because last time I checked, Barack Obama's Justice Department actually spied on your coworkers, your fellow reporters like Cheryl Atkinson and James Rosen. Actually had a chilling effect on the First Amendment during the Obama administration. You don't care about that. You don't care about that at all. All those political prisoners, by the way, in Cuba, as you were challenging Mr. Castro about the political prisoners in Cuba, did you turn to your left a little bit and say, and by the way, President Obama, why are you here? Why are you going to a baseball game and celebrating the Castro regime and playing footsie with them and opening up the embassy here and normalizing relations with this country while they still continue to hold those political prisoners? President Obama, maybe you should actually use your power and influence and all the good graces and support you have from us here in the media to put pressure on that guy. Look at him, the guy to your left. Look at that guy that's standing next to you, Raul Castro. He's holding political prisoners. Why are we even here while those prisoners? Why didn't you demand those political prisoners be released before you came down here? No, Jim Acosta never did any of that. No, he never did any of that. You know what he did do, though? He did this.
But your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and so on.
That's true.
But
They weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood.
Right.
These were people. This was an actual, it happened a few days ago. And
they're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's not an invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may
Okay,
ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask
Peter,
one
go
other
ahead.
question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's
Mr.
enough.
President, I
That's
was going
enough.
to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr.
Excuse
President,
me. That's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other
Peter,
question,
let's
if
go.
I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned
indictments-
about anything with
that you
the
may have
Russian
indictments coming down?
investigation because it's a hoax.
Are you?
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
I hope you noticed leading up to that moment that all the other reporters were impatient with him. He had the mic for a long time. It was time for him to sit down, and he insisted on hanging on to the mic. He pushed the staffer from the communications department away so he could hold on to the mic, which is obnoxious and boorish behavior and completely disrespectful and rude to the office. Did he ever do that to any other president? Listen, when Jim Acosta says, always remember to follow the truth and hold on to the truth, and in the same breath say, no, the high point of my career was not covering the Trump White House as a White House correspondent. Dude, nobody would know your name if you didn't cover Donald Trump in the way. You wouldn't have gotten that job at the anchor desk reading the teleprompter in the nice cozy confines of the CNN studio if you hadn't covered Donald Trump as a White House correspondent. Give me a break. The only reason why anybody knows Jim Acosta's name is because CNN decided in 2017, cynically, that they would turn the Trump White House press briefings with Sean Spicer into a real live reality show. They would stop everything and cover every second of the press conferences. Jim Acosta recognized that he was on live television, so anytime he had a chance, he would get into a fight with whoever was coordinating the press conferences. And then right afterwards, when Wolf Blitzer came on to do the post-game analysis, they'd go right to Jim live, standing in the press briefing room, and he was able to pontificate and become a superstar. Everyone knows that. It was an accident that he happened to be in the right place at the right time at the White House when Donald Trump was president. Listen, he took full advantage of it, but his time has run out. Nobody watches him. Nobody likes him. And it's kind of a different climate now. No one wants him to be badgering and beating up President Trump, because actually President Trump has the best approval ratings of any second-term president at this time compared to his first term. So it is time for Jim Acosta to go, but we'll still have the memories. We'll still have these few precious moments where Jim Acosta graced us with his incredible professional journalism that just can't be matched. I mean, this kind of thing, you don't find it anywhere else. But from the mind, heart, and mouth of Jim Acosta and CNN.
And here are some of the steel slats that the president's been talking about right here. As you can see, yes, you can see through these slats to the other side of the U.S.-Mexico border. But as we're walking along here, we're not seeing any kind of imminent danger. There are no migrants trying to rush toward this fence here in the McAllen, Texas area. As a matter of fact, there are some other businesses behind me along this highway. There's a gas station, Burger King, and so on. But no sign of the national emergency that the president has been talking about. As a matter of fact, it's pretty tranquil down here.
Maybe, Jim, just maybe, there's not a national emergency and mad rush to the border because of that giant thing right behind you that's kept people from rushing the border. And Jim, I really missed your on the scene, on the border reports for the last 4 years while Joe Biden was president. You know, I believe it's the Del Rio crossing position. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but there's a crossing checkpoint down in Texas. I believe it's Del Rio, that during 2023 was recording upwards to 4,000 illegal crossings a day. 4,000 encounters a day in 2023 under Joe Biden. Jim Acosta never went there. Donald Trump's been president for 1 week, and yesterday, that same location had 60 crossings. We went from 4,000 a day under Joe Biden without Jim Acosta showing up to report on it, and we had 60 yesterday. That's Jim Acosta's incredible reporting work that somehow just didn't make the cut in CNN's new lineup. So Jim's gone. He's history. I don't know where he's going to go. I'll be honest with you. When he said he's considering other options, MSNBC ain't going to hire him. None of the networks are going to hire him, I assure you. So where's he going to go? I mean, I guess he could take a pay cut and go to News Nation like Chris Cuomo did, but I don't think News Nation wants him. He's ruined his brand as a journalist at CNN because he steered so far into the Trump derangement syndrome beat. He doesn't cover the truth or facts or news. He covers his own feels over Trump's policies. So where's he going to go? I mean, I guess he thinks he's going to be able to go direct to you and stream direct to you and have a podcast because he thinks he's going to be the next Megyn Kelly. But I assure you, he's missing several fine assets that Megyn Kelly possesses that, well, Jim just doesn't come close to having. His podcast is going to be as popular as Don Lemon's is. In other words, we're never going to see Jim Acosta again. And that's a good thing. Are you tired of the winning yet? Increased tariffs on our trade partners, tax cuts, and regulation changes. Learn right now why gold is a viable diversification tactic. Now more than ever, frankly. Birch Gold, the only gold company I endorse, is releasing a brand new booklet, Ultimate Guide for Gold in the Trump Era, with a foreword by Donald Trump Jr. To get your free copy of this valuable information, along with Birch Gold's free information kit on gold, text my name, Larry, to the number 989898. The facts are that the national debt continues to increase, and our interest payments on that national debt continues to increase. Gold is still your hedge against a weakened dollar. And I love Birch Gold because they help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. That's right, an IRA in gold with money that you already have in an IRA or 401k account. Text Larry to 989898. Get a free copy of the Ultimate Guide for Gold in the Trump Era. There is no obligation, just information, and I think it's a really good idea for you to do it today. Don't forget my name, Larry, to 989898. Do it today.